many of you might know that the Orb Queen, the Crystal Mom, Marianne Williamson has announced that she's running for president to primary Joe Biden. So she's primarying Joe Biden in the Democratic primary. She ran last time. She didn't win a single state. She barely won any votes. And we have no reason to believe that would change at all this time around either. She'll probably get every vote that's not for Biden, which will maybe be, I don't know, 2%, 3%, which would be the most votes she probably ever got in a Democratic primary by just being the only other candidate. But she doesn't have a chance in hell. She's not going to win. Now, I am not inherently against her running if her only goal is to bring attention to issues that she cares about and to be like, hey, maybe Biden should be in favor of legalizing marijuana. If that's what she's doing, I have no problem with it. If this is a run under the auspices of, oh my God, I can't wait for Marianne Williamson to be president, then we're kidding ourselves. I can't be against the idea of running for president under the idea of bringing attention to an issue. I worked on the Gravel campaign, for God's sakes. So obviously that can't be the case. So I'm not against inherently her running, but I also got to say, I don't know if she's the best representative. She did not do well in 2020 for a reason. There's a reason why she didn't get many votes. There's a reason why she did not succeed. And I have no reason to believe that's going to change this time around. But I'm not inherently against her running. Putting that to the side for a moment, apparently a reporter asked the Biden press secretary about this, and she low-key threw some heat towards Marianne Williamson, kind of basically called her a kook in a very nice, joking way, of course, but she threw some heat at it. She basically called her a crystal mom. Listen to this interaction.
Is the president annoyed, frustrated with Marianne Williamson for jumping in the race ahead of him? Did he want a clearer field to run against the Republican nominee in 2024?
Just not tracking that. I mean, if I had a what is it called? A little globe here, crystal ball, then I can tell you. But I imagine 8-ball, whatever. If I can feel her aura, I just don't have anything to share.
Oh man, that killed in there too. Not only was it a jab at Marianne Williamson with the crystal ball and then the aura. The aura hit harder. It killed in the press poll. Oh my God. Ooh, it killed in the press poll. Oof. Gotta ponder the election orb.
On that.
They're still laughing.
Oh gosh, you guys are making me laugh now.
See, she's laughing at her own joke. Now, I'm gonna be for real, right? While this is dismissive, it's also just a joke, right? I'm not taking it too seriously. It's just a joke. We gotta feel her aura out. We gotta figure it out. It's dismissive. So if you're trying to take the campaign seriously, if you're trying to take if you want your campaign to be taken seriously, this is obviously going to be frustrating. But also, she's not running to win because she can't win. She'll say she's running to win. But also, I worked on the Gravel campaign, and we said we were running to win in order to get on the debate stage because we had to, not because we were actually running to win. Everybody on the Gravel campaign knew that Mike Gravel was not going to be the next president of the United States. He was too old. He wasn't in the politics game. It was only to try to bring some attention to foreign policy, right? That was it. She's not running to win. So if you're not running to win, it's going to be hard for anybody to take you that seriously. If I wanted to get in boxing, right? If I wanted to become a professional boxer and everybody knew I was not boxing to win, I was just boxing to box, it might be harder for people to take me seriously if we're talking about the championship of the world, And so it's not that surprising that they're joking around about it. Personally, this didn't rub me that bad. I feel like if anything, if I'm running this primary against Joe Biden, I'd be happy that it got even asked in the first place, considering that, she doesn't have a chance in hell. But Marianne Williamson was quite offended at this. And again, I'm not surprised she was offended at this, but she also recorded like a 2-minute segment about it. Like really really upset about this. Like, she really did not like how she was treated. And so it's a mild jab, right, chat? Exactly, chat. It's a pretty mild jab. This is what she had to say. Let's read the tweet. They might think it's a joke, but there's nothing amusing about people going bankrupt from medical debt or children going to bed hungry. I'm gonna be honest. This doesn't feel like it's about children being hungry or anything. It just feels like a joke. I mean, maybe I'm not being fair enough to Marianne. I'm not even against her running, right? I think the strategy can have some success if she concentrates on like one or two issues really, 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 really hard and tries to push Biden on it. And pushing on an issue like healthcare, I think, is good, considering he made a lot of promises on healthcare and he has not been able to deliver on a lot of them. It comes to insulin prices and a few things like that, yes. But when it comes to the bigger legislation, he just has not been able to, due to the Senate and due to the fact he's been concentrating on a lot of other work. But it feels like she's taking it a little too seriously, you know? That's what it kind of feels like, taking it a little too seriously. Like, the press secretary says, oh yeah, I'm going to feel the aura. And then she responds, children are dying. Children are dying. How dare you? It's like, come on. It does feel a little mightier than thou, I think is the best way to put it. Let's listen to what she has to say, though. Maybe I haven't listened to this yet, so I'm gonna be reacting to it for the first time with you guys right now. Okay, let's listen to it.
I was so sad to see the commentary of the president's press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, about me, about crystal balls, which I've never spoken or written about, and auras, which I've never spoken or written about, and just speaking so derisively and in such mocking terms about someone who is running for president of the United States. And as a woman, and this is the Democratic Party.
What? I'm sorry. Now I can't take this serious. As a woman, the woman who laughed at you was a woman. The woman who was laughing at the aura stuff. And I don't think they were seriously being like, I don't like her commentary on auras. I think it was just a joke that you're kind of kooky, which, I mean, you are kind of kooky. I mean, she can say I'm not kooky, but she kind of is, right? She could say she's not, but I mean, you know, there's a reason why people call her the Orb Queen, right? That's what people they call her the Orb Queen, right? That's what people call her, right? Like, what does it have to do with her being a woman? Is this a sexist remark because they're mocking her? I'm sure if somebody else, like some person similar to Marianne was running against Biden, they would have some other mocking joke or some other like joke to throw at them, right? I'm sure it would be something else if it was a man. Is she suggesting that, like, if this was a man, you would never mock them? You would never mock a man. Men never get mocked in politics. Donald Trump's calling Ron DeSantis meatball Ron. Like, is it really that crazy for just this mockery? I don't feel the sexism here at all. I feel like this is a reach and a half. Like, this feels like you need some Shaquille O'Neal arms in order to make this reach.
I have a constitutional right to run, and my candidacy is about substantive issues and policies.
Who said anything about the constitutional right to run? I have a constitutional right to run. But if I ran for president against Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, I would expect to get mocked a little bit too. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get Joe Biden to make a Twitch account. You know, we'll go debate it on the hippy dippy. Yeah, sure. You know, like, is that conflict with the fact that I have a constitutional right to run for president? Actually, I technically don't. I'm not old enough. But if I was old enough, like, would that change? I don't know. Just feel like she's just a little sensitive here, honestly.
I have made it clear in interview after interview that the president is a nice man and that I have no interest in taking personal pot shots. But apparently the White House, or at least as expressed by Karine, doesn't share my commitment to the high ground. The hypocrisy here is something that all of us can see, because the president has said on his first day in office that anyone in his administration who spoke disrespectfully about anyone would be fired on the spot. Now, I'm not hoping that Karine Jean-Pierre loses her job over this, but I do hope that from now on, this low, derisive this narrative about me, just obviously meant to get me out of the conversation. I hope that this path is not pursued. It's not good for any of us.
Okay, I understand where she's coming from. She wants her campaign to be taken seriously. She doesn't have a chance in hell, but she wants to have a serious conversation about policy, because this is being as good faith as possible. She wants to drag Biden to the left and make Biden better on issues like healthcare, right? Being as good faith as I possibly can for her. But let's be clear, Biden doesn't need to take the low road with Marianne Williamson. Biden doesn't need to take the high road with Marianne Williamson. Biden's not even on the same highway as Marianne Williamson, because Biden is going to be, outside of him fucking dying, the Democratic nominee in 2024. If he doesn't die and he's medically able, he is going to be the nominee. It's not going to be Kamala. It's not going to be Pete. It's not going to be anyone else. If he isn't too sick to run, if he doesn't like catch cancer or something, or if he's not dead, he is going to be the nominee. We just saw a Rasmussen poll come out. Can we actually we'll talk about this briefly. We saw a Rasmussen poll come out. Rasmussen is a right-wing pollster, and this kind of shocked me. We have a Rasmussen poll come out, which usually gives terrible numbers for Democrats, which has Biden at a net 1. Of course, there's a margin of error here, but at worst, 50-50 here. Rasmussen. This is a right-wing pollster. Gives the worst numbers for Democrats in every round of polling. Biden has a net positive approval rating here. He is of no risk of being primaried. He is of no risk by Marianne Williamson. He doesn't even need to acknowledge her existence. He could not talk about Marianne Williamson a single time for the entirety of the 2024 campaign, and he would be perfectly fine. They could have just said no comment to that question about Marianne Williamson, and they could have been perfectly fine. They could have said, like, well, we wish her luck, and it would have been perfectly fine. That's it, right? Like, he doesn't need to do anything. So there isn't a question about, like, high road, low road, middle road. They're not on the same road, okay? Okay? If this is about roads, right, she's on the back rows dirt road in the middle of Missouri, and Biden's on a freight train to the Democratic nomination. So, like, maybe I'm kind of hammering it a little bit over the head here, you know, but it's not a question about roads. Can we actually look at Real Clear Politics polling data for Biden approval rating, or maybe we can look at 538 Biden approval rating, because this isn't the only polling data of Biden, but all trends seem to show Biden on the up. So you can see it, he's on the up. He's on the up at 40. So if you have the net accumulation of all the polls, they're at 44 to 51, which is obviously worse than what they have for Rasmussen. But this is a much better than what he was like just like 6-7 months ago, which is 38. That's like almost a like, I think there's an 8-point increase. It's an 8-point increase. Actually, right now, wait, let me check. He's actually the highest he has been for. Let's see, actually. Let me look at this data. Right now, Biden's approval rating is the highest it has been since... Oh my goodness. Since October of 2021. So it's been like almost 2 years since his approval rating has been as high as it is right now. Yeah, he's going to be the nominee for the Democrats. No questions asked.
It's not good for America. It's not good for the Democratic Party. People are watching. And I hope that everyone who is watching realizes this is not just about me. They're not just telling me to get away, like flicker off like a mosquito. It's about you. It's about anyone who, first of all, I think
that all of 2 people want Joe Biden to run again, and you're all trashing him. His, like, you're trashing somebody primarying him, but there's like nobody's going to be able to primary Joe Biden. Who can primary Joe Biden and beat him? She's not going to beat him. Like, this isn't a question about who's going to be the nominee for the Democratic Party. It's over. And I'm just saying this as like being a realist with you. I'm not like saying this as like, oh, should we get rid of the Democratic? No, we should still hold the primary. We should still do the functions of democracy, but it's over. Unless we get like a tape of Joe Biden like saying the N-word 20 times, right? Like, it's over. It's done, right? Like, he's going to be the nominee. If he doesn't die, if he doesn't catch cancer and he's super sick, and if he doesn't like get some big leak where we find out that Joe Biden is like the next leader of the Klan, like, he is going to be the nominee for the Democrats, like, period. And you could say that nobody wants him to run again, But that's not true. When you poll people versus Marianne Williamson, Joe Biden, you want to know what her polling was versus Marianne Williamson? 5% was Marianne's number. 5%. Head to head. 2 options. 5%. That means if you were to take all of the Democrats and you were to say, if you were to just choose somebody else for not being Biden, that accumulates to 5%. 5%. So, like, you can say that nobody wants Joe Biden to run again in the Democratic Party, but in the Democratic Party, Joe Biden is immensely popular. And his numbers are trending up generally amongst the general population. Hopefully those numbers continue, but who knows?
What has faith and takes faith seriously? Or is it just about any woman who speaks out of turn?
Dude, I'm sorry. She needs to stop making it about being a woman. This has nothing to be about being a woman. It's about the fact that, like, she's always been she's always been one of, like, those spiritual types, and that she doesn't have a chance in hell. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. I don't know why she keeps pivoting it to it being a woman. And I don't. Like, just, I don't know. It just feels like she's crying sexism. It's really weird.
I don't know. That's for you to decide. But whichever it is, I hope that we will stop that kind of nonsense. It's not good for any of us. Thanks.
Anyway, I hope that she brings attention to issues like healthcare during her campaign. That's the main purpose a campaign like this could serve in the first place. Good luck to her on that front. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just a mean person. But I didn't see this as a sexist moment. I didn't see this as like sexism directed towards her being a woman. I think it just has to do with the fact that, you know, she doesn't have a chance. And she's known as the Orb Queen. I think that's really it. Jordan Peterson's takes are getting worse after his milking fetish tweet. What did he post? What did I miss? As women outnumber men in higher ed, campus mental health has never been worse. Correlation or causation? A deadly serious question that no one will dare ask. Like, as in having more women in like college is causing people to want to kill themselves. That's a pretty red pill. This is something I would expect from Andrew Tate. This isn't something I would expect from Jordan Peterson, dude. What is going on with him, man? Somebody needs to take his fucking phone away. Somebody needs to put him to bed. Put him in a home, man. I hate to be mean, but he's tweeting out like milking fetish porn. He's like saying that, like, oh, how dare you have pride in your turban? Pride's a sin. He's like correlation on causation on whether women's making everybody want to kill themselves. Like, somebody needs to take away his fucking phone, man. My goodness, somebody needs to give him like an old like BlueBerry or something. Something that doesn't have Twitter on it, man. Give him a flip phone. My God, you know those flip phones they make with the really big numbers so it's easy for the elderly to see? Give him one of those. It's like $50. My goodness, give him a toy phone. Give him make like a little fake Twitter that he can go tweet on or something. I don't know, man. Yeah, give him a BlueBerry. Oh, I said Blueberry. I mean Blackberry, not blue. I'm never gonna live that one down. I'm never gonna live that one down. I said Blueberry.